Let's do, you want to do Orange County?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
What were your highlights there?
My highlights there were when somebody called someone else Snuffleupagus. I thought that was great, but in a good way. I said it in a good way. And the whole conversation of happy ending massages being like kind of a running arc for the episode was a nice touch.
I was trying to figure out what Vicki was talking about, like putting your foot in there and getting someone to do a foot rub, or is it like a signal? I
thought it was a signal that because she was like, you put both your feet up, and then that's like the sign. It's like a secret handshake for the massage therapist, which is like, I don't think that's the secret handshake.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine.
She seems to know what she's talking about, though. I mean, she's done this before, right?
Yeah. I found Vicky's a friend of, right? Like,
yeah, she's a friend of this season, but she was on she's been on Real Housewives of Orange County since the very beginning.
Oh, but so she was a full housewife before?
She used to be. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, because my impression was that she was like newer, maybe, and like really trying hard to shift focus to like make situations about her, and I found it a little annoying. I found Vicki pretty annoying overall. So I'm surprised.
I think you're not alone in finding Vicki annoying. I think a lot of people do. I think she's brilliant. I also think that she's annoying, but I think like that adds to her brilliance and her effectiveness. So I thought it was amazing. She is so like unapologetically like hypocritical and just like a liar and a shitster. I think it's amazing, and like overall mostly harmless. I think that she's just such an eccentric character that
eccentric is the word for it. Especially her delivery. She just barks out every line like a consumption patient cutting somebody out of their will. She has such amazing delivery.
She is like a caricature of herself, and that's it. And I really love that she's so transparent about what she's doing. Like, she's just there to like cause problems and stir shit up, and like she's doing Tamra's bidding and everyone knows it, but it's enough of a deflection that Tamra is able to deflect the heat. She doesn't take a lot of heat. She's already good at deflecting the heat, but now she's got Vicki to also be this additional shield. She comes off like very scot-free in this situation.
Yeah, my favorite moment was the Vicki moment when she just like, they're talking about parasailing and she's randomly starts throwing out the story about this parasailer outside her house who got cut off and was stuck in the air and then ended up caught on the rooftop of a building, and was just like,
and they couldn't get her down.
And then everybody's like, okay, anyways. I love that.
My favorite Vicki moment was when she got up to leave I don't think it was dinner. I think it was drinks at that point. Got up to leave and was talking to the waiter who clearly did not understand a fucking word she was saying.
Yeah.
Going out apologizing, and then additionally saying it's very hard for me to be around people who are fighting, as though that has not been her job for the past 2 decades. And then we get the editor like a select few fights that Vicki has been directly involved in, back to back.
I found, even more so than Meredith and Lisa in Salt Lake City, I found Jen, Tamra, and Susan almost impossible to tell apart. And the fact that they were together and
Shannon?
Storyline. Is it Shannon?
Yeah.
Those three, I was like, wow, these women all look the same, and I don't know who's who and what their storyline is. Like, that was tough to get in one episode. Who was who?
Oh yeah. I think that Jen had one of my favorite moments in this episode. It was like she was talking to, I can't remember who she was talking to. It was probably like Shannon or something. and saying, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted to see a shaman. Are you kidding me? I own a yoga studio." Like, oh yeah, are you kidding me? I've always wanted to appropriate that culture too.
I love the shaman, by the way. We've been blessed this season with seeing so many fake doctors in Orange County, all variety of bullshit doctors, and not saying that shamans don't exist, but that this fucking Tommy Chong in a saran blowing into a conch shell was a sham shaman, and it was great. I love him. Like again, like I love these guys. I find that's so inspirational that there's all these guys catering to this industry, just following their dreams of being healers and doctors, not put off by social judgments or medical licenses or any of that bullshit. Plus, we get the little stinger at the end, which teases us that in the season finale, we're finally going to get to the final boss of fake doctors, a chiropractor. So looking forward to that.
But these guys are doing important jobs. They're keeping these people out of emergency rooms, keeping the weights down. So some respect is due.
For sure, tons of respect is due. They rule.
Dylan, what were your highlights from this?
Okay, Gina had a moment that was really just cute for me when they talking about sea turtles, and she's like, "What did the turtles eat? Like salad?" And Tamra's like, "Seaweed," and she goes, "Lettuce." I just thought that was kind of adorable.
Do they eat seahorses?
Yeah. No. I think it's crazy how Tamra kind of just gets away with everything. Like she could just she's just so good at just like getting everybody pissed off and then immediately being like, "Oh, and I love you," and that's it. And then I'm just going to readjust the social configuration so everybody forgets about it. Yeah. That she was going so hard at the Jen. She was kind of wrapping it up too much against Jen, like really taking it hard on her. And Vicki too. Actually, speaking of Gina, that was probably the most that I've liked Gina so far is when Vicki was like, you have you had 5 kids, you had no right to end your marriage or whatever, and then Gina just like jumps in and is like you don't get to talk to her like that. You don't even fucking know her. Like that was I mean, she's right. Like just because she had kids doesn't mean that she like isn't allowed to end a relationship. Like that's just that's a nasty way of thinking. I get that Vicki's coming from her own personal experience, but you can't apply your own personal experience to everybody else's life. I continue to really like Jen as a subject of discussion because she still continues to mostly like resist fighting back, even though we saw her kind of blow up a little bit at the end of the last episode, but then she kind of draws it back in. And that seems to be very important to her. We see her kind of sitting through these discussions and then cut to her like doing her yoga moves and being like, "We're going to stand up tall. We're going to recenter." And it's kind of different to see somebody who doesn't just like on one of these shows, who doesn't just play lip service to the idea of being like, focusing on yourself and like being calm and stuff, but actually like does it. And the fact that she has that bit of a Sphinx-like quality to her where she doesn't want to engage too much, which makes her, as I've said before, a weird addition to the show, but I think makes her extra frustrating to Tamra.
Yeah,
because
true.
Tamra has to work that much harder to try to get her to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of effort from Tamra to try to get her to blow up because Jen's just really resistant to that.
Yeah, I'm coming around to like the impact that Jen is having on this dynamic making for good television and being interesting to watch. It's kind of like when you get like one of those toys for your cats or your dogs where you put the treat in the center so they have to like work for it a bit harder. It's nice to see that agitating element before, a little bit of payoff and a little bit of delayed gratification from, working hard at trying to crack her.
Yeah. Well, because I had a note here that like in the context of this one episode, I don't even fully understand why Jen and Tamra are like having a rift. Is it a boyfriend that someone said something about. Like, I don't even know from this one episode. So yeah, she's obviously playing her cards pretty close to the chest.
Yeah, they just think that her boyfriend is a dirtbag, and they're trying to use whatever they can to crack her because that's the purpose of the show.
Yeah.
And they're right. Like Ryan absolutely does have that history, and I'm sure he has cheated on her and will again. But I still think like the best line in the situation was Shannon's, where she was like, maybe Jen's stupid, but let her figure that out on her own. Like, let her live her own life.
I think we covered most of my thoughts on Orange County as well. I love the little gag from Heather when she's parasailing with Vicki, where she's like, just visualize Koto Insurance and you're at your desk with your Post-its. I don't know. I thought that was like a good just kind of read about like what is going to play well on TV, and I enjoyed it.
And then the overlay of like the person working in the office and a stapler. It was just like, oh yeah, that's good. I would just want to add my quote of the episode was "Onward and upward, Willy Wonka," and I was like, is that like an attribution? Like, you know, it's Willy Wonka who said it, or are you calling her Willy Wonka? I didn't quite understand.